want to just take a moment to thank Rosie, who's, I think you'll all agree, has been fantastic. She's arranged pretty much everything that's happened tonight.
What have you been doing?
I've done very little. So before I get into the routine, the comedy routine, the humour element of the night, could we just give Rosie a very big clap?
I'm waiting for the punchline. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah.
Nice.
30 minutes starts now.
As some of you know, that the last time I stood up to speak about Rosie at our 10th wedding anniversary in Lakehampton Village Hall, I made a rude and unfortunate double entendre about her having some really big knockers. We received some complaints about the joke, and I again want to apologise to anyone that went to that night, and just to reassure you all that tonight's comedy humour element of the show, of the quiz, won't contain any humour. There'll be no crassness, and I'm going to keep it as clean as I think such an occasion befits itself. I also want to apologise about the mix-up on some of the quiz flyers that I handed out last week that said you'd get a basket meal of sausage and chips. I know Rosie was especially disappointed because she seemed very excited when I told her she'd get a 9-incher tonight. I also want to have additional food tonight, and I have snacks and crisps. But last night, Rosie, when we were lying in bed together, we had a terrible misunderstanding. I turned to her and I said I needed to pop round the back to fill up with nibbles and chocolate fingers. She slapped me in the face and told me she wasn't that sort of girl. But it's truly... Is my drink gone?
I've got it, and you're not having it back.
But it's truly lovely to see so many friends here tonight. And so when we hand selected who was going to come tonight, we made sure that we chose some of the best brains in Cheltenham. You might not know, but amongst us are doctors. We've also got some accountants with us. But we've also got people that didn't work so hard at school. But there's nothing wrong with sales and marketing. And we also have housewives. Housewives, the most important job in the world. And I'm certainly not going to make any jokes about housewives tonight. The poor lads wouldn't understand it anyway. As some of you here know, it's been a really tough week for me, job-wise. I'm facing a long spell where I'm forced to loaf about the house for weeks on end on full pay, with nothing to do but watch Jeremy Kyle and Loose Women, and to take the occasional trip to the pub and generally piss my life away. That's right, I'm becoming a teacher. I really like cheese, but I have to be careful not to overdo it. My doctor told me that eating too much cheese was not good for you. I don't like dogs, as some of you know. It's all that slobbering and rubbing up and down against my legs that I can't stand. But these days I'm careful not to spend too much time in the school playground. I used to play a lot of rugby and got quite good, but I was told that I wasn't big enough in the tackle. Thanks, Mum. True story. When I was young, I played a tennis tournament in Burnham-on-Sea, and Gary Glitter came to watch me. I was touched. After I left school, my geography teacher was convicted as a paedophile. We should have guessed when he kept inviting me into his room to see his bedrock.
I think you need to do that one again.
After university, our geography teacher came out as a lesbian. We should have guessed when she organised a field trip to visit some rifting dykes. I used to be addicted to making bread. My psychologist said I didn't need dough. I'm always getting the wrong end of the stick. Last week, Rosie told me to buy her some period pants. She wasn't happy with the Henry VIII knickerbockers that I came back with. Okay, we're almost there. This is my favourite joke, and I stole this one, but it's got to go in. A man walks into a bar and asks for a double entendre, so the barman gave him one. A woman walks into a carpet shop and asks for a double entendre, so the shopkeeper gave her a really good shag. A woman walks into the dentist and asks for a double entendre, so the dentist gave her a really good filling. My fantasy is to have two women in bed at the same time. Not for the sex, it's so they can talk to somebody afterwards. I used to be addicted to playing football with nuns from the local convent. My psychologist told me it would be easy to kick the habit. And finally, to finish up, a joke donated from Megan, my 7-year-old daughter. What do you get if you cross a kangaroo and a chicken? A pouched egg. That's all. Thank you very much. Good night. Thank you.